like beat my chest. I feel like beat my chest. I feel like beat my chest. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I feel like beat my chest. I feel like beat my chest. I feel like beat my chest. Yo, I sing it. Oh, see a banga. See a banga. Give thanks to the Father. Everybody, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. See a banga. See a...
Nothing else sounds as good as
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All righty, so the time here in SVG, it is 7:21, and already we have on the line Mr. Philbert John, preferred to be known as PeeJohn. PeeJohn, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Roleza. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. What about you?
I'm good.
Okay.
I know you haven't heard me for a few days, but I explained to Rajiv what the situation is, so
Okay.
I hope he conveyed it to you. I just want to comment on the crime situation. Now, the Prime Minister made some comments about young people getting involved for the various reasons, and I agree with him. And the point he made about it's only a minority that's involved in criminal activities. That is correct. The problem is, it might be a minority. It is not necessarily numbers involved. It is the impact that the behaviors are having on society. Let me speak from my past as a educator. You have a school of 300-400 students, and the majority of them will be well behaved, will be acting according to expectations. But then you have this few who, for various reasons, engage in bad behavior, bad conduct. But the manner in which they behave tend to take up the time and effort and the energies of teachers, administrators, etc. So while we might applaud the fact that only a small minority of people get involved in criminal activities, we have to pay attention to the effect, the impact it has on families and the society as a whole in addressing it. And I want at the same time to commend the young people who were awarded on Saturday night. And let us engage in more activities to recognize young people and to fully nurture them and steer them away from a life of crime and criminal activities.
All right.
That's it.
All right, cool. All right, so yes, I am in agreement with you. Even in a school setting, the minority might be the most disruptive, and because they are the most disruptive, the consequences of their actions, it does have implications in terms of the learning process and even behavioral things in relation to the other students. So while it is that, yes, I am in agreement with the PM in terms of the majority of young men may not be going down the life of crime. We have to look at what it does for those who actually engage in it, what it does to how St. Vincent and the Grenadines may be viewed, not just by us here as locals, but for those internationally as well. So it's for us to put a firmer hand on those who are, yes, they are in the minority, but at this time, they are the most disruptive for us.
And they do have an impact. They tend to color the entire situation.
Correct. Yep. And total agreement. All right.
All the best.
All right. To you as well, too, PeeJohn. Thank you. All right. So That was our bit of commentary there with PeeJohn. So PeeJohn normally provides commentary around 7:20 every morning, and we also have another commentary segment with Kingsley DeFreitas at around 7:45 every day as well. All right. So just to officially say good morning to everybody, or for those of you who've been listening since 6 o'clock this morning, good morning. It is what it is. And I suppose one of the things that we also have to be thankful for is, despite, whatever moods you might be in, you still do have life. All right. And whatever the quality of your life is at this time, there is always that opportunity for you to improve it. All right. So let's not be too depressed, or let's not be too sad, or let's that occurred in the fancy area. So there was a memorial service that was held on a Saturday. So that event, that activity happened. Family and friends, and even the survivors who went through that particular tragedy, and to have to deal maybe with survivor's guilt. I'm hoping that they're all doing well, that they are progressing, and they're finding a way to cope with what has happened. And I suppose as well, making the best use of the life that they've been given. All right. So just saying special good morning to family, friends, and survivors of that rock gutter tragedy. All right. PeeJohn also hinted, or briefly mentioned, that on Saturday, the inaugural Youth Advisory Council Awards was held. And these are, the Youth Advisory Council is the youth heir to the PM, right? And these persons find themselves in different categories in terms of giving advice, or as a committee, they give advice from a youth perspective to the Prime Minister. And I want to believe it's by extension, government, cabinet, and government. All right. So on Saturday, the first ever Youth Excellence Awards was held at the Community College. The champion, or the Prime Minister's Award, was given to Miss Jada Ross. And if you remember, Jada Ross is the last year was 2024. She's the 2023 Miss SVG. All right. So she actually received the Prime Minister's Champion Awards. There were several awards given in various categories, such as health and well-being, environmental stewardship, digital media, young visionary in the field of architecture, etc., etc. There was a list of persons who received awards. And it was an inclusive process in that the public had their hand in determining the persons who would go forward as the winners, right? I'm not sure if it came down to the polls in terms of the numbers of persons who voted for persons from the public sphere, or in terms of if being a greater majority, or if it was maybe a half and half decision in terms of from the council, as well as influenced by the polls from the public. All right. So, of course, I want to extend congratulations to all those persons who won. I probably should have asked somebody, but anyhow, back in the day when there was the National Youth Council, I'm not sure if something like this happened back then, but at least it is something that is happening now. And, in the same vein that many persons like to speak about young people in terms of young people this, young people that, Many times in a negative light, we also always have to remember that there are more young persons out there doing positive and they are on the right trajectory in life. All right. So just want to big up the Youth Advisory Council and all the persons integrally involved in the execution of this event. Unfortunately, I did not look at it. I just tuned out completely Saturday night. And so I did not look at it, but it's available for me to go back and to view at a subsequent time. All right. So big up those of you who are making strides. And even if you did not happen to win, for those persons who are nominated, the mere fact that you were nominated also means that you are on the right road. All right. So keep on progressing, keep on striving, and keep on giving persons something good to say about young people out there, because not all of us are, well, I'm not in that category so much anymore, but not all of the young persons can be lumped into one negative category. All right. And we have an example of the positive young persons who were exemplified and awarded on a Saturday night. All right, so to just quickly jump into something else that's not so happy and not so positive, but it is what it is. I think I got this from the newspaper. All right, so those of you out there working, because every posse must work, right? So NIS contributions increase this month. So the take-home pay for many event sanctions will be reduced this month as contributions to the NIS increases by 1% over the contribution rate increase, which came into effect last June. All right. So for those of you who, it's one of those topics that many persons, especially, you're gainfully employed and you're hoping, things are already rough, but for you to now not be receiving as much as you were before, it's also going to make a difference. All right. Yes, you might say it's only 1%, but if you do your budget down to the last cent, it can have an impact. And I know that there are persons, a friend of mine said something to the effect of, imagine you're receiving your increment, for those persons who actually receive increments on an annual basis, whatever little increment you get, you might end up losing it. All right. Worse yet, for those persons who don't receive increments, you are going to be taking home less money. And, it's this sort of cycle in life that we go through where it just seems like you work to pay bills. You work to pay bills and then you die. All right. But not to be so morbid about it, but it is what it is. All right. And I don't know. I suppose maybe it's just one of those things that's going to remind us of trying to find ways around situations. All right. So you find yourself currently maybe in financial challenges. Ask yourself, do I have a skill or do I have a trade that I can use to bring in some extra money? Right. Do I have a piece of land that I can, or even a small portion of my yard where it is that I can plant my own fruits and veg? Because, to buy those things might be difficult. Do I need to substitute the things that I use in terms of my food prep? Maybe these are things that we have to consider, right? So while it is that it's not going to get cheaper, the longer we live, it's not going to get cheaper. We are going to have to find ways around this so that we don't get overly stressed, all right? And we don't take on too much things, especially financial things in this life, all right? God didn't put us on this earth to be stressed. We're supposed to be enjoying life. All right. So we are going to head on out at this time. And remember that at 7:35, we bring to you today's traffic talk. All right. Don't you go anywhere.
Get so much more with Court's Ready Finance. Whether it's a furniture upgrade or appliance replacement, it's all